Dr. Amy Compton-Phillips, president of clinical care at Providence, explains how she had to make difficult choices while raising two children.
I started out as a frontline clinician, and then I ended up being a department chief of internal medicine. And then I got asked to run medical offices and set up medical. Right around that same time, I had my second child. And I was just finding juggling the clinical care, the administrative responsibilities, and raising two kids with a husband who had a busy job overwhelming. And I said, I have to give up something. What is the thing that I'm willing to give up? And I decided I was willing to give up administrative tasks. And I went back to half-time work, just seeing patients. But it turns out that when you work half time, that's 2.5 days a week. Well, you really actually work 3 days a week. So I finally said, hey, will you pay me for the other half day? And then they said, well, would you do a little bit of administrative work in the meantime? And so I ended up doing it. And it just kept creeping back up. And I finally got to 4 days a week and started taking on more administrative tasks. And around the same time, took a bigger job that I cut back. So it is an iterative process.
Amy goes on to explain how making compromises with her spouse proved beneficial.
I feel incredibly lucky. So probably what's been my most difficult doesn't even remotely compare to colleagues of mine who've been raising children with one parent, for example, right? I have two. And I happen to have a marriage that's lasted 31 years now, and we actually still really like each other and we consider each other our best friends. So the difficulties that I faced are probably significantly different than difficulties others have faced. But part of it's been, how do we balance? How do we balance out what's important? So when I was younger, my husband's career was the one that we thought was going to be the one that helped set our finances into the future, because we both grew up with families that both our moms were teachers and our dads both worked, because that's what it took to raise a family, right? We didn't have really any money. But that said, we wanted a better life for our kids. So my husband's his job was going to be the one that got us on. So I went half-time and he went to work, and I was the more parenting. Later, when I got the job nationally, he cut back to half-time. I went on to do the full job, right? But those kinds of decisions are like how do we do that together? How do we figure out, how do we focus on the kids and we focus on the jobs? And our answer was one of us has to work a little bit less, because two really super busy jobs is incompatible for our family with putting the time into the children that we wanted to. So it's just such a juggle. And the lesson that we learned is saying yes to everything means doing everything badly. That in order for us to do anything well, we had to learn how to say no to some things. And so that would be my biggest take home, is be willing to say no, and your life will be better.